All right, everybody, I'm glad you were able to attend today. We're going to go ahead and get started, and I am going to show you all the ins and outs of charity auctions today. So, you're probably here because you've been tasked with finding an online auction or a mobile bidding and a live event solution. And most likely, you're probably extremely overwhelmed. You don't know where to start. There's lots of options out there. Pricing is kind of all over the board, and you just don't really know what to do. So in this webinar, it's going to take about an hour. We're going to actually go through all the ins and outs of charity auctions today, so that by the time you're done with this webinar, you're going to be able to get signed up and actually create your first auction in no time at all. So there's no need to sign contracts. Contact us if you have questions. I mean, we're here if you need us, but more than likely after this webinar, you're going to be able to just dive in and get started. So I know it's probably a little bit overwhelming, but running an online auction or setting up mobile bidding for your live event is actually a lot easier than you may think. It doesn't have to be difficult. A lot of companies out there make it difficult. They have a lot of useless features that you're never going to use. It's very complicated to navigate. And when you use charity auctions today, we actually make this extremely easy to use. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you from start to finish how to actually, set up your auction, all the different features that we have, and then, we'll go in and actually launch it. And then I'll give you access to sign up, and actually you can create your own auction, so that you guys can get started today. Like I said, no contracts, no credit cards are needed. You can just go in, get started, and just test this out. So what I'm going to show you in this webinar is, why charity auctions today is the best platform out there. We're going to go through how online auctions work first, and then after that, we're going to go through how mobile bidding and a live event works. With our system, your mobile bidding and a live event always starts with setting up the same way as setting up an online auction. And then for our mobile bidding side, we just have a few more features. So if you're only in this webinar for our online auction features, after we're done with the online auction and we launch it out to the world, and I'll tell you when when we're done with that process, when we hit there, you can actually jump off and get started right away. Then if you are here for doing mobile bidding at a live event, you can just kind of stick with me and I'll show you all the different features that will apply to you if you are running a live event and you need those mobile bidding features. We're going to identify many of the features that we offer. And then by the end of this video, I'll go over our pricing, show you how you can get started with no credit cards, no upfront cash, and how you can run your own auction for free with no upfront cost. So before we kind of take you in there, just a brief history of charity auctions today. So we started back in 2007. We were one of the first charity auction platforms. I think there was only one or maybe two other platforms that kind of serviced our niche of schools, nonprofits, and businesses. Today they're popping up kind of all over the place, but we have been around for quite a while now. And our main goal has always been to kind of cut through the contracts, the large fees, the whole sales process that most auction platforms require you to go through just to get up and running. So we wanted to make it easy. We use the latest technology to kind of drive our costs down so we can pass the savings on to our clients. So, and we don't even have salespeople on our staff. So if you do talk to somebody in our company, it's going to be a customer service person. We don't believe in the whole sales process. We just want to make it easy for you to get in, test it out on your own, and then if you like it, you could just activate your demo account. But we're always there to answer questions for you, but you're never going to be hounded by salespeople trying to get you to sign up. So that's just not our business model, and we don't really like that whole contracts, signing, upfront costs and things like that. So we just want to make the whole online auction, mobile bidding at a live event experience extremely easy and pleasant. So we wanted to make it easy for people with either one item or hundreds of items to be able to launch the auction quickly. So since then, we've helped over 4,500 of the top businesses, nonprofits, schools all run their auctions online. It's also a great platform for individuals if you wanted to kind of help out different organizations in your neighborhood. So you don't have to be a nonprofit to be able to use our system. Anybody can kind of get in, get started, and it doesn't matter, how many items you have. We just want you to be able to set them up, launch them quickly. So it only takes about 5 minutes to actually set up your auction. So first thing you do is, you're going to create an account on our site. So we don't require a credit card. You won't be charged anything. And what we do is we put everybody into a demo account so that they can actually test everything out before they actually commit to using us. So we want you to run a full test with your auction committee. You can add 5 items. You can place 2 test bids per item so you can test the outbid notifications. And if you want to run a full-blown test with more items, more bids with your auction committee, especially if you're running like a live event and you need mobile bidding, just let us know. We'll activate an auction subscription for you so that there's no restriction on the amount of bids that you can place. And then that way we can set up that mock auction from start to finish and you can test out the entire process. So on our site, to get started, you can go to any one of the sign up for free buttons on our website. And from there, basically, you're going to just put in a few bits of information. And once you hit the click here to continue, we're going to actually bring you right into the auction setup wizard. So after you create your account, we're going to land you right into this auction setup wizard. So what you're looking at here is that auction setup wizard. It's only 3 pages, 3 steps. And really what we're going to do is we're going to actually create the core of your auction. All of these features can be changed at a later date, so don't feel like when you're creating your auction that everything has to be perfect. What we really want you to do is we want you to just get your auction created so you can start adding items, and then you can always come back and make changes later at a later date. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by naming our auction, choosing our time zone, and then we're going to choose a time block. So you have the ability to put in multiple time blocks. So if you wanted your auction to start or end, or different items, I should say, if you wanted to stagger your end times, you have the ability to add items to different time blocks. So it's a great way to kind of keep your auction going. Item status, we recommend yes. This just means if your items are scheduled, they will show up on your auction page. No one will be able to bid on anything until your start time arrives, but it's a great way to kind of see what everything will look like before it launches. We have 2 privacy settings. You can list your auction private or public. Private just means only the people you share your link to, social media that you posted to, are going to be able to see it. If you list it publicly, we're going to actually take your auction. We'll put it onto like our bid on items page where we have our visitors, thousands of visitors every day, every month, week, kind of coming through, browsing through auction items. We'll also pick and choose. Our social media team picks and chooses some really good quality items, and we start sharing those through our social media networks. So you'll definitely have the ability to get some more exposure for your auction if you list it publicly on our site. Then the last thing on this page is the currency. So we definitely can run your auction in multiple different currencies, but for this example, we're just going to stick with the United States. We're going to go ahead, hit next step. And this is going to take us into some other settings. Our listing type, we have 2 listing types. We have online auction and view only. Online auction is going to be for all of your online auctions, and then also mobile bidding at a live event. If you are running a live event and you have an auctioneer that might be taking over some live auction items, you can list it as view only, and then that way it'll kind of create like an online catalog. Nobody will be able to bid on those items, but they will be able to see what those items are and read those descriptions. We have 2 global bidding settings. So we have straight bidding, auto bid. Auto bid is like proxy bidding, so that people can put in their max bid, and then our system will bid on their behalf up until their max bid. Straight bid just means if they put a $500 bid in there, that's going to be the new high bid, and bidding will go up from there. Buy it now invoice. This is going to be mostly used if you're running a live event and you are selling like wine tickets, raffle tickets, food vouchers, drink tickets, whatever it may be, and you want all of those items to be invoiced at the end so that they could pay one final invoice amount and have one payment instead of multiple payments every time they went to do that. If you're running an online auction, we suggest leaving this no because you want them to just purchase that item instantly if they use the buy it now button. Display images on mobile, we highly recommend yes for this. Then we can also auto-assign catalog numbers and bidder numbers to your auction items as we add them. Once we hit next step, that's it. We've just created our first auction. It takes maybe 5 minutes, if that. Go ahead, hit save and continue. And this is going to bring us right into the auction dashboard. So what you can do is we have a little pop-up message here. So you can go ahead and take a tour of our auction dashboard. And this will kind of walk us through and tell you kind of the different sections within the auction dashboard and kind of how they work. So I'm going to go ahead and just end this tour just because I'm going to actually explain a lot of this stuff for you. So we'll go ahead and end that. First thing I want to point out, in demo mode, we have a little demo tag. So this is going to tell you that your auction is in demo mode. In demo mode, you can add 5 items. You can place 2 test bids per item. At any time, you can clear out the test information so that you can start fresh. And then whenever you're ready to actually activate your auction, you can just click on the red Activate Auction button, and that'll take you out of demo mode, and then your auction basically will be ready to start and launch, add more items to it, and really kind of take it to that next level. But what we want to do is we want to put everybody in demo mode, and we want to actually prove ourselves. So we want you to actually test everything out, try and break our system if you want, but the whole point of the demo account is so that you can test everything out completely risk-free so you know exactly what you're getting before you even commit to using us. On the auction dashboard, a few things I just want to point out, and that's going to be our knowledge base here on the right-hand side, and also some of our quick setup guides. So depending on what you're doing, we'll kind of show you some auction tips. Down here, you can always click on our help icon at any time. So you could just type in your question. It'll pull up any of our articles with screenshots in our knowledge base. And then you can also contact us. So this comes right into our support desk. So feel free to answer or ask questions anytime. No matter what plan you choose with us, you get the same level of support. When you do create your first auction, we're going to send you a welcome email. It'll have our support phone number, email addresses, links to video training, and our knowledge base and all that other great stuff. Once you're in your auction dashboard, we have 3 tabs at the top. So edit, design, and manage. Manage always brings you back to the auction dashboard. If there's anything that is kind of missing within your auction, we're going to kind of alert you here. So if you haven't added any items yet or designed your invoices, we'll go ahead and show you kind of, give you quick links to those different sections. If we come under the design, this will bring us into our design editor. So you can choose between 12 pre-designed themes that we have kind of built in here. You can also design your own theme over here on the right-hand side. So every element of the page can be changed over here. Just make sure you save your changes once you are done. And then down here, you'll kind of see the preview editor. So whatever changes you make are going to be kind of populate in real time. All of this data in here, the 3,025 shares, things like that. This is all placeholder information. So this does not actually show up on your auction page, but we wanted to just kind of fill it in so that even when you have no data, we want you to see what your auction will look like. Under page features, these bullet points here on the right-hand side, this is where you can activate or remove all these different features from your auction page. So if you didn't want to show like the donate items button, you can go ahead and remove that, and it takes it away from underneath this donate now button. You can upload logos and banners. So if you wanted to add a banner across the top, you can do that, or just your logo, a main image area, and then also a title and description area, which shows up right down here underneath test auction. So one of the great things about a Charity Auctions Today page is it also can double as a crowdfunding page. So think of it like a GoFundMe page with an auction component built into it. So when we're telling people to design their auctions, and, we want them to actually spend some time, create the good-looking, background colors, color schemes, try to match your website, your organization colors, get a logo. You can go to a website called Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, and have a banner created for $5. But what you want to do is you want to make your auction site look legit. If people come here and there's no designs, and we have some other training videos that we show you examples of really bad looking auctions and really good looking auctions, and you're going to see a drastic change in the amount of money raised depending on the color scheme or the effort put into the design. So you don't want people to come to your page and have it look plain where they don't know where the money goes or who it supports. So you really want people, when they land here, you want this to be the official auction page for your organization or for your business. So spend some time, with putting in a main image, show the organization, show the business, show maybe the people that the money helps that you're, raising money for. In the description, again, you want to talk about where the money goes, who it helps, the community it supports. And then what you want to do is you want to make an appeal. You want your visitors to do one of three things when they come to your page. You want them to either register and bid on your auction items. You want them to donate cash if they can't bid or they don't find an item they want to bid on. Or you want them to share your auction with their friends and family. So those are one of the three things that you want to try and get every visitor to do when they come to your page. You don't want them leaving without doing one of those actions. So in your auction description, you need to make an appeal. You tell everybody about where the money goes. You publicize and you promote your organization. And then you make a statement at the bottom that says, if you don't find any items you want to bid on, please consider making a cash donation in the top right corner. If you can't make a cash donation, please help us by sharing our auction page to your friends and family. So you want to try and promote and really tell people what they can do to help you, even if they don't have the money to donate or if they don't want to bid on any items, they can at least afford to share it with their friends on social media. So try to make that appeal in the description. And if you do that, you're going to raise a lot more money. You're going to get more bidders, more traffic to your auction, and ultimately it's just going to result in more money raised for your organization. Under the Edit tab, this is going to be all of your global settings that we kind of went through during the auction setup process. So this is where at any time you can always come back and make changes. So that's why we don't want you to have to spend a ton of time and effort trying to figure out and make everything perfect. We just want to get your auction going so that we can start adding items, and then you can always come back and play with these settings later. So this is where you can kind of come back, make any changes. We do have a few more settings in here that we didn't have in the auction setup wizard. So you can add a goal amount, auction terms if you want to add a specific paragraph or description to every single item. We can go ahead and add that here. You can also add buyer premium. So if you wanted to pass along any type of fees, so if we're going to pass along some credit card processing fees, we can go ahead and add, let's just say 3% to the final invoice amount. And then that way your winning bidders will help cover some of those fees that you might have for collecting credit card payments. So a lot of great features in here that we can go ahead and set up. Even after your auction starts, you can activate and change all of these settings. Our auctions are very fluid. So you're never locked into one setting, which is great. So you can always make changes and even add items after your auction is already launched. So now that your auction is created, we can come over and add items. We can start by adding custom categories. So we have some default categories in here, but you can always go in and add unlimited custom categories. So basically you just type in the name, hit add. It'll show up on your list. Most of the fields on our site you can drag and drop into whatever order you want them to display on your list. So categories, items, you can always drag and drop things into whatever order. And then if we come over to all items, we can start to add items to our auction page. So from here, a lot of the global settings that we created in that auction setup wizard are going to be here. So they're going to be pre-filled. So like online auctions, we can go ahead and choose our categories. If you want to add an item to multiple categories, you can do that. And then we can go ahead and add items into the system. So we're just going to go ahead and just put some dummy information in here. We'll go ahead and put in a test bid, or a starting bid, I should say. If you want to add a buy it now price, you can. So buy it now price is just if you wanted people, if they didn't want to bid anymore and they just want to pay for the item at a higher amount, they can definitely do that. Blind bidding is great if you have multiple quantity of an item. So if you have 5 of an item and you want to offer it to the top 5 bidders, you can go ahead and activate blind bidding and then up your quantity to 5. You can always add quantity if it's a buy it now item or a blind bid item. And then that way, if it's blind bid, you'll be able to offer the item to the top 5 spots in this case. All the bidding will be hidden, so no one will really know what anybody else bid. So you're going to get some people that put in a lot, some people that just put in the minimum to get in the top 5. If anybody gets outbid and they're not in the top 5 anymore, they're going to get an outbid notification either by email or text message. You can go ahead and add item value. You can say yes, no, or priceless. If you do have shipping costs that you want to add to it, you can go ahead and add that to your final amount. This just gets added to the invoice. You can set a reserve per item. So if there's a certain dollar amount that you need to get back for this item, you can always set in a reserve. And then that way, if bidding doesn't reach the reserve amount, the item won't sell when the auction closes. We have bid increments, so you can do our default bid increment table, or you can create your own custom bid increment. So if you wanted every bid on this item to go up by $10, that's what you do. You do a custom bid increment, add $10 in there. Popcorn bidding is great for your high ticket items. So what this does is basically in the last 5 minutes of the auction, if there's a bidding war going on that item, any bid that's placed in the last 5 minutes will reset the end time to the 5-minute mark and start counting down again. So what this does is it prevents that person from waiting to the last 10 seconds to place their bid, guaranteeing them the win and not giving that person that was outbid a chance to rebid. So what this does, it'll reset the timer to the 5-minute mark so that person that was just outbid can get their notification, get back in, and place a new bid. The item will eventually close when there's no more bidding activity in the last 5 minutes. You can bring your own catalog numbers, or we can auto-assign those catalog numbers. You can hide the items from view. You can add your donors into the system. And then you can upload up to 4 images per item. So you just click Add Images. It brings you to our image upload area where you can just drag the images onto the screen, or you can search your computer for those images. And then we have some internal tracking notes that you can add. So this is really going to be for if you're running a large-scale auction and you just want to add any type of internal notes to the different items so that you can run a report later and see what those items are. So I went ahead and just created the auction item. If we ever need to edit, we just click the edit icon and we can copy the item or delete it. Once you have lots of items added, we have the ability to do bulk edits, deletes, transfers, copies. If you're going to use us year after year, you can transfer items from one year to the next, which is great. You can also bundle items together to create packages for those items. So lots of different features that we can go into here. I don't want to waste kind of our time doing that, but it's kind of it's very robust on kind of how we can click and manage those items. So once you get all your items uploaded, it's almost ready, almost going to be time to launch your auction. So first thing we want to make sure we do is we want to design our invoices. So in this scenario, what we're going to do, we want to fill in as much information as we can. If you put in your organization information or tax ID number, I should say, they can use the tax or the receipts that we send them as tax receipts at the end of the year. But you'll be able to upload your logo, have all of your organization information in there. I do suggest adding like payment and shipping details. So really this is going to be if you have a specific pickup location where you want everybody to come pick up their items, you can give this to them. This is only seen by the winning bidders. So if it's they have to pick it up at the school between Tuesday and Wednesday between these times, you can put that in here. Contact information. This will be if any of the winning bidders have questions. This is just a quick way for them to be able to know who to contact so that they can ask questions directly to you. If you don't put anything in here, they usually contact us, and then we just have to track down who the auction is that they won it through, and then send this off to you. Extra notes. This is just if you want to give them a thank you. You can basically add thank you notes and get them in there, and give them a little thank you for winning. All of your invoices, once they are created, will show up in your All Invoices page. So this is where you're going to be able to download copies of them. You're going to be able to see the paid, unpaid status of those invoices. And we'll go ahead and I'll show you in one of my other accounts kind of what that looks like once they're filled in. We have several auction options. So we have the ability to add sponsor logos to your auction page. So this will show up on the mobile version, on the web version. Basically, you can add their sponsor logo, link it to their website. You can invite users, unlimited users, in to help you manage. So you can add their email, name, and then invite them in as a manager or an admin. Admin will have access to your set payment options. Managers are like volunteers, so they're there to help you manage items, run reports, things like that. You'll just go ahead, send them an invitation. They're going to get an email from us, and then they'll be able to, click on it and start, crafting or log in and really start helping you manage your auction. So that's really it as far as running an online auction. So what we need to do from here is whether you're running an online auction or setting this up for a mobile bidding at a live event. If you're doing a live event and you want to run like a hybrid auction where you launch your auction a week before, you're going to go through this same process. And what we want to do is we want to come over to invite and promote, links and widgets, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to copy our auction link. And what this is going to do, it looks really plain right now, so don't mind my design here because we didn't really do much of that. But this is going to be the link that you send out in emails, in social media posts, post this on your website, anywhere where you're going to start directing people into your auction so that they can come in and register and start bidding on your auction items. So it's kind of a really easy way to do that. So before we actually launch it, let me just kind of take a second and let's actually activate our auction subscriptions. So we went through, kind of creating your auction, designing your auction, adding your auction items, designing your invoices, sponsors, things like that. So, before we actually launch your auction, we actually need to activate an auction subscription. So whenever you're ready to either add more than 5 items or you're ready to really kind of finish off your auction, what we want to do is we want to click Activate Auction. And then you can choose any one of our plans. So our pricing is very simple. What we do is basically we have 2 payment types. We have a free plan where there's no upfront cost. We just take a 5% performance fee on the total amount raised. So think of it as for every $1,000 you raise, you would just pay us $50. Now, if you're going to be running an auction that raises maybe under $10,000, if you're going to start raising or raising more money, we have prepaid plans where you can pay a little bit more up front, but then we lower the performance fee down to either 2 or 1% on the back end. So the different plans that we have here are all based on the amount of items that you can put into your auction. So you just have to do the math. If you have run an auction in the past, whether it's a mobile auction, online auction, or maybe even a paper bid sheet auction, you kind of know roughly how much money your auctions raise. You can kind of come in, do the math, see which plan makes the most sense for you, and then activate from there. So like I said before, we don't take a contract. You don't need to talk to anybody on our team to get started. You can create your demo auction, and then you can start adding your items, and then whenever you're ready, you can just activate one of our plans here. So if you did a prepaid plan, you're just going to select it. We're going to take you in and take your credit card information. Otherwise, right in my situation, I'm going to actually activate the free plan. So I'm going to hit go. It's going to just make, double check that I want to do this. We're going to go ahead and activate it. And then from there, it drops me back on the set payment options page where I can connect a Stripe account or a PayPal account to collect credit card payments. Either one, if you don't have an account, I always suggest setting up a Stripe account. It takes about 5 minutes, but you just hit get started. It'll take you to a quick form. It takes about 5 minutes to complete. Once you hit done, it'll bring you back here, and your auction payment method will be here, and you're ready to go. So, this is a great way for you to be able to kind of, test this out and get things up and running. So now you'll notice that we activated. It says free plan at the top. So now you're able to basically launch your auction. Basically unlocks the bidding. You'll see that now you can add up to 1,000 items under the free plan. So your auction's really at this point now ready to go. So if we go back to the Manage tab, everything is green, so that's good. I didn't customize my invoices, so this is reminding me that I should do that. And then what we can do is we can go back, and now we can take our auction link, copy it, and then send that out in those emails, post on the website. So that's how you set up and run an online auction. Now, if you are doing just an online auction, at this point, you're going to see a link over on the right-hand side of the page. You can go ahead and get started, or just go to our website, charityauctionstoday.com, and click on any one of the sign up now or sign up for free buttons, and that'll kind of bring you into that auction setup wizard. So now for anybody that is doing a mobile bidding at a live event, we're going to go through some of those features and kind of how we set it up. So like I said before, when you are doing mobile bidding at a live event, you still need to kind of set up your auction like an online auction beforehand, whether you're going to launch it a week before or just open it the day of the live event for the people that are going to be on site. You're going to set up your auction the same way, because technically a mobile auction and a live event is using the online auction components. So you're going to set everything up the same way as far as adding items and your settings. So you got your auction. Let's just say you're running a hybrid auction where you're going to launch your auction a week before. So we're going to say our live auction is next week. We're just launching our online auction today to kind of get the bidding going. We can start getting bids so that the day of the event, our bids are a lot higher, and everything's going to be great. So what we want to do now is, it comes to the night of the event, we want to make sure that everybody that hasn't registered or hasn't participated in that week leading up to the auction, we want to make sure that they get the auction on their phone really quickly. And how we do that is basically we have a live event registration kiosk. So there's a couple ways we can register people. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to open this up in another tab. So the live event registration kiosk you can put onto any type of a tablet or a laptop. So basically, for the people that haven't registered before, they can walk up and you can basically have them fill out this form. If you're requiring a credit card to be on file, we'll ask them to enter in their credit card information into the public or into the live event registration kiosk so that it stores it to their account, and then you can charge those credit cards later or just keep it on file so that you know that you're going to get paid for those items. So there's just a few fields that they need to fill out. Once they hit complete registration, we're going to shoot them a text message with a link to your auction so that, they click on it, they're automatically logged in, and they're ready to start bidding the entire night. So it's very easy to kind of get started, with this registration kiosk. And no matter how we register, so I'm going to go through the second way of registering, which is preloading all of your attendees into the system. So even if you're going to preload, you still want to have this registration kiosk available, because you're always going to have some stragglers that maybe weren't on your list, or they were a guest of another person. So you still want to be able to have an opportunity for them to be able to register. So this is where you can just give an iPad to a volunteer or a teenager, and they can walk around and just kind of help register people around the item table. So the other way of registering is, like I said before, we're going to preload everybody in as an attendee. So if you can either use our event ticket module to sell tickets to your event, and then we can preload everybody in as an attendee, or you can import your attendees in with a CSV file. So if you're using Eventbrite or you have your own method of registering guests, you can go ahead and have them imported into our system. Once they're imported, what we want is a name and a phone number. If you have an email, that's great because we can create a full-blown bidder account with the more information that you import into our system. But if you can do a name and email or name and phone number, that would be the best thing, because if we have their cell phone number, the best thing that we can do from there is we can come over to Auction Options and set up custom text messages that we can send out at scheduled times throughout the night. So what a lot of organizations do is they'll preload all of their attendees into the system, and then they'll schedule this auction starting soon for maybe an hour or two before the event starts. So basically we'll say, hi, bidder name, welcome to the, ABC Foundation auction. It's starting soon. We have some great items up for bid. Click here to view. And once they click on that link, you've already created a bidder account for them. So all they need to do is click on the link. They're going to be logged in, ready to start bidding immediately. So that's great because now you don't have to, make everybody kind of register themselves. You can actually register for them and start sending them text messages. At any time, people can opt out of text messages, and you're the only one that is going to control scheduling, messages to go out. So as long as you don't spam them, nobody should have a problem with it, because they're all there. They're there to support your organization. So we can definitely don't feel bad about kind of preloading people in and sending a text message to them. As long as you make sure we include your organization name, then everybody will know who the text message is coming from. And then we have a few other text messages that we can schedule throughout the night of the event. So we can schedule this starting soon for maybe an hour or two before your auction starts or your event. And then maybe an hour after, we can send like a make a donation text message. So this is great for sending this out because not everybody that shows up is going to want to bid on your auction items. So this is a great way for them to be like, okay, I have another way of making a cash donation, where it basically will just pull up a donation page where they can just enter in their credit card information and just make a cash donation to your organization. The no bids alert is great for like maybe an hour and a half before your auction ends. So this is just letting everybody know that, hey, we have some great items with no bids, come on over and check them out. And then the closing soon, we can do this about a half hour before your auction ends. We're just kind of letting people know that your auction is ending soon and really to get in their final bids. And then about a half hour, 20 minutes after your auction ends, we want to send out this donation request for non-winners. So this is great because, all those people that maybe bid $25 or $100 on an item but didn't win, they were going to commit that money to your organization anyway. So maybe they'll do it in the form of a donation instead. So this is where we can say, hey, you can still be a winner tonight. Sorry you didn't win. Here's a donation link if you want to make a cash donation. So these are great ways. These custom text messages are a great way to either get more bids on items or more cash donations to your auction. And then we have some standard text messages that we can change the wording in here to say these are all going to be triggered by certain actions that are done on our site. So if they won an item, if they were outbid, basically we have set wording that you can customize any way you want. We can also schedule custom text messages to go out. So if you want to create one to go out now or schedule it to go later, you can create a customized or personalized text message, underneath the schedule message tab. So that's going to be how we get your auction on the phone for people that are mobile bidding at your live events. So if you've going into the mobile bidding for the first time and you're used to paper bid sheets, this is going to be dramatically different because you're actually going to probably be thinking like, this is way too easy. It doesn't sound like this should work this way, but it actually is, because our system will actually do all the work for you. So our system, if you preload all your guests, there's no registration. If you're pre-registering credit cards, we ask them to put in a credit card before they place their first bid. So there's no check-in lines. You can make this as hands-off as you want. We definitely have other ways of, you can have a check-in table and check people in and, pre-register a credit card. But, you can kind of set this up to be more hands-off if you wanted to. And it doesn't matter if you have 100 people at your event or 1,000 people at your event. The system's going to work the same way no matter who the volume of your bidders are going to be, there at the event. So it might sound like, hey, this could be too easy. It shouldn't be this easy, right? I'm used to doing this. It takes us hours to do all these, features, from checking people in to gathering up the bid sheets and calculating what people win and charging their credit cards. So our system actually will do all of that for you. So when your auction ends, we're going to close down your items. We're going to generate the invoices. So if a bidder wins multiple items, we're going to put it onto one invoice. And then we shoot out those invoices by text message to their cell phones. And at that point, they can click on the link. Your auction will open up on their phone. They'll enter in their credit card so they can pay for the item. If you've pre-registered a credit card, they can enter in that new credit card. And also, once they do pay, basically it'll mark that invoice as being paid on their phone. So the best part about now the checkout process is, hey, they've already paid. It's been probably, your auction's been closed maybe 5 or 10 minutes now, and people have already started paying for their invoice. If you want to collect your money instantly, you can go in and do a bulk charge of everybody's credit card so that you don't even have to wait for them. If you have one of our prepaid plans, you can actually, collect cash or check offline. And then maybe after 30, 45 minutes, you can then go in and do a bulk charge of all the credit cards for people that haven't paid yet. So, you definitely, with a prepaid plan, have the ability to collect cash or check offline. If you stick with our free plan, our system is going to handle everything for you. We're going to actually create the invoices. We're going to charge the credit cards, and we're just going to shoot out a receipt by text message to everybody's phone and email so that they can open that up on their phone. And then what they're going to do is the winning bidders are going to walk over to the item table, and they always walk over to the item that they won. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a volunteer there at the item table, a couple of them maybe, depending on how many items you have. So as the bidder walks up, the volunteer is going to ask to see their paid invoice on their phone, verify which items they won, verify that it shows paid on there, and then they can hand the item to them and they can walk away and leave for the night. If they win multiple items, they can read the multiple items on the invoice and take them and go. If the invoice on their phone does not show paid, there's just a pay now button, pay now a credit card, that the volunteer can walk them through clicking that button, and that will show them how to, enter their credit card or pay with the credit card that's on file. So the whole process of your auction ending and people starting to walk away with their items is going to be 5-10 minutes. Now, obviously, at the bigger the event, people are they're going to win, and they might be straggling. They'll be talking to people, whatever it may be. So, usually within the, next 30 minutes, most of your items should have already been picked up and gone. You'll have some of those people that are just too busy talking to other people, and they'll eventually get over to the item table. But the whole point I'm trying to make is, we try to make it as easy and streamlined as possible so that you don't have to worry about gathering up the bid sheets, calculating who wins, charging their credit cards, because the thing that people hate the most is standing in that checkout line for 45 minutes waiting to pay or pick up their item. And so what our system does is kind of make that whole process a lot easier. So the great thing about charity auctions today is we actually want you and your auction team to run through a full mock mobile auction before you even commit to us. So that's why we want you to set up a demo auction. Contact us when you're ready to run a mock auction with your auction committee. So if you guys are having a meeting at a certain time, let us know. We'll activate a subscription for you during that window of time so that you can run through registering people, bidding on your phones, and kind of do the whole checkout process so you can see exactly how it will work from start to finish. So we just want to we want to be very transparent with you and how our system works, so that you know exactly what you're going to get before you commit to using us. So that's going to be kind of the whole auction process. So we also have a few other live event features where you can create a leaderboard of items. So if you want to project this onto the wall, you can do that. You can add your logo. You can choose between a light and dark color. At a goal, you can we have 4 pages that you can choose from: top items, no bids, auction and donation totals, and then a thank you sponsor page. I'll show all your sponsor logos. So you'll basically just select the pages you want. You hit save changes. It'll generate a link for you. And then from here, it will kind of show you, what it looks like. Once you have some data filled in, you'll be able to kind of get a good grasp on kind of how that works and looks on your auction page. If you are doing a paddle raise, or maybe you have an auctioneer, you can use our paddle raise feature to do this through the mobile phones. So instead of the traditional paddle raise where everybody raises their paddle and write them down and all the different dollar amounts, you'll be able to kind of do this through their mobile phones and do it all electronically. So we have lots of videos and lots of training that will show you how to do this. So I don't want to kind of go into this right now. I really want to kind of keep this webinar more focused on online auctions and then mobile bidding at a live event. So just to kind of recap on the setting up the auction, is no matter what you're going to do, is whether it's an online auction or mobile bidding at a live event, we're going to set up the auction the same way. So you're going to go through that auction setup wizard. You're going to design your auction, and then you're going to add your items. Once you get your items added, then you can go to invite and promote and take your link and start sharing that so people can come in, bidders can come in and start bidding on your items. And then for the mobile, registration, bidding at the live event, it's really all about how you get your auction on everybody's phone, because you want everything to go through text messaging. So that's why we have the way of preloading all of your attendees into the system. You can also add them in one at a time if you want to do that. This is a more just more time-consuming way of doing it, but it's possible to add bidders or attendees in on the fly. And then also using that live event registration kiosk so that you can register people, through a tablet or a laptop, and then our system will shoot them a text message with a link to your auction. So, both ways are going to be great. Now, there's probably more questions that you have, so feel free to reach out to us. Highly suggest, kind of creating, a demo auction on our site so you can kind of see what it looks like inside, kind of get your feet wet, play around with our system. You're going to get those emails from our success team, just letting you know, like here, links to our video training, our phone number to our support desk, things like that. So at any time, if you ever need our help, we'll be there. We can go through and actually review your auction before you launch it. Just kind of make it as easy as possible. And, if you are worried and nervous about, launching this thing out to the world, we can do a complete review of your auction kind of before we go. So that's really it and how our system works. So, at any time, feel free to, kind of come back and, talk to us, and we'll kind of help set that up. So, going back to kind of a little presentation, like how much does this all cost, right? So it kind of went over a little bit about the pricing when we were doing the demo, but we're very transparent. We don't have any hidden fees. So what you see is really what you get. So we have our free plan where there's no upfront cost and there's no risk. If you don't raise any money, we don't charge you anything. So if you've never run an auction before, but maybe you got 5 items donated to you, Charity Auctions Today is a perfect platform, because if they don't sell, we don't make any money. And we actually will try to help promote your item because we have a vested interest in you raising money. So the free plan is great. There's no risk. There's no upfront cost. There's no contracts. You would just pay a 5% performance fee on the total amount raised. So like for every $1,000 you raise, you would pay us $50. We have some prepaid plans, so they're all based on the number of items that you can put into your auction. So we have a starter plan up to 25 items. That is $297 up front, and then we lower the performance fee on the back end to 2%. We have a 100-item plan. It's $497. You can then list up to 100 items and drop the performance fee again to 2%. And then we have an Ultra plan up to 250 items. It's $597. We lower the performance fee to 1%. If you need more than 250 items, We have a 500 item plan, the platinum plan. It's $797 with a 1% performance fee. So we can handle auctions no matter how, if it's one item or thousands of items. We have a plan that will kind of fit the budget. Now, the only other fees that are on top of our performance fee is the credit card processing fees. So we've partnered with Stripe and PayPal to make credit card processing easy. So we don't actually collect the money or manage it. We're not your bank. We want to make it extremely easy for you to kind of get started. So the fees are usually 2.9% plus 30 cents for Visa, MasterCard, Discover, 3.5% for Amex. I don't know if PayPal charges the 30 cents for Amex or not, but I know Stripe no longer does, so it's just a flat 3.5% for Amex. All fees are taken out of the money before they're deposited into your bank account. So Stripe and PayPal will handle taking out our performance fees and their credit card processing fees, and then they usually deposit the funds into your bank account within 48 hours. So you'll be able to log into either your Stripe or your PayPal account, whatever you set up, so that you can see when those deposits are going to be made, and then also all the fees that are taken out. So really what you do is you take our performance fee, you add it to the credit card processing fee, and that's going to be your all-in fees for running an auction on our site. So, we handle basically everything for you. All you need to do is create and launch your auction, and then we'll just handle the rest. If you ever need help or you have questions, we offer a very robust knowledge base. And if you can't find the answers there, we always have live support so that, you can talk to someone, in real time. You can email us. We get back to our emails extremely quickly. And really what we want to do is we just want to make it easy. We have a vested interest in helping you be successful. So, that's why we try to provide you with all the tools, and we also try to make it as easy as possible for you to, set up and launch your auction to the world. So right now I added a link over on the right-hand side where you can actually create an account on Charity Auctions Today. So go ahead, click through there. It'll take you to our sign-up page. And you can actually get started today. So if you don't want to talk to us and have any more answers or questions answered, you can go ahead and get started. If you do have more questions, you can actually schedule another demo with us. Just click on the request a demo at the top of the page. You can pick a day and time that works best for you. You'll get links to our screen share, but this demo should have gone through how to set up and run an online auction and mobile auctions. I know when you're doing a mobile bidding, a live event, usually there's more things involved with like buy it now items and tickets and raffle tickets and drink tickets and all that great stuff. So feel free to reach out to us. We can set up a one-on-one call with you and go through any other questions that you might have. So that's going to be it for the webinar today. I really want to thank everybody for joining us today. If you have questions, feel free to send them in to us. Schedule any type of one-on-one demo with us, your auction team, whatever it may be. Or if you think you're ready to just get started, go ahead and click on the button to the right, and you can go ahead and create an account. Even if you still have questions, I suggest create an account and just kind of get in there and play around. I think you'll probably get a lot of your questions answered once you're in there, but that'll also maybe help spur some more questions so that when we do those one-on-one talks, you can bring a bunch of questions to our webinar or demo, I should say. And, we'll be able to answer everything out really quickly. So once again, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, have a great day, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Thank you.